You were trying to get out of your husband's grip, but instead of leaving you, he pulled you closer to him and you could only see lust in his eyes. You turned your face to the other side, but he grabbed your chin tightly, turning you towards him. "Don't you dare to look away when I'm talking to you," he said, his voice low but dangerous, bringing tears in your eyes. "You belong to me now. This is nothing compared to what you have to pay for the rest of your life. You'll feel the pain of each and every sin you committed. I'm not going to let you live in peace. You'll beg for your death." "You took away my everything. Now it's your turn, and remember, I will be worse. You will suffer for what you did to my mother." He let go of your chin, making your tear drop. You see hatred in his eyes, a lot of it, that is only for you, and you won't blame him. You could understand his anger, but what he's doing with you is not justified at all. He's breaking you from inside when you were already broken. Your mind flashed back to that fateful night. You had been driving away from a confrontation with your ex-fiancé. Tears blurred your vision. You hadn't seen Jungkook's mother stepping into the street until it was too late. From that day to now, it constantly haunts you in dreams, and the memory of the woman's lifeless body lying on the ground is a torture for you. It was a mistake and you accepted your sin, but the price you're paying now is worse than that. It had been an accident, but that didn't change the fact that you had taken a life. Jungkook had found out and sworn to make you pay. He had used his power and influence to force you into this marriage, trapping you in a nightmare of his own making. Every day since your wedding, Jungkook treated you like a servant, barking orders and showing no regard for your feelings. You cooked and cleaned under his watchful eye, always aware of his seething hatred. At night, he forced you into his bed, his touch cold and unfeeling. Each time a piece of your soul died. Your days are filled with constant suffering. You wiped your tears and walked upstairs in your room. Your chin was still hurting because he gripped it so tightly, as if he's grabbing an animal and not a human. Jungkook came back after a short time. He straight went upstairs in your room as if he wasn't satisfied with what he did a while ago. He wanted to see you suffer more, but as he was about to grab the doorknob, he heard your sobs. His fist clenched at his sides as he fought against the swirl of emotions inside him. He could hear his own heart pounding, the sound mingling with your muffled cries. He had made you cry again, and a part of him hated himself for it, but another part, the large part, he thought bitterly, felt justified. "This is what she deserves. She killed my mother. She took everything from me." He tried to justify his doing, but even as he thought it, another voice, quieter and more insistent. "She didn't mean to. It was an accident. You know that." Jungkook shook his head, trying to silence the doubt creeping into his thoughts. "No, she has to pay. I have to make her suffer," he muttered under his breath, as if saying it loud would make it more real. He knows the truth now, the day when you were completely lost and was running away from your ex-fiancée who was forcefully marrying you, and then that accident. But he can't bring himself to forgive you because you gave him the most painful memory. She was his everything. Just because of you, he left all alone in this world. His jaws again tensed up as he turned the handle and pushed the door open before stepping into a dimly lit room. You were sitting on the edge of the bed, your face buried in your hands. At the sound of door, you looked up, your eyes red and swollen from crying. You got a little scared when you saw him. His eyes were emotionless as usual. "You think you can become a better person by shedding these fake tears?" His voice was poisonous, stabbing you directly in your heart, but you lowered your eyes. That made him even more mad. He hates when you avoid him. He came near you and again grabbed your chin, making you look at him. You could see anger and hatred in his eyes. You think you can defy me, huh? You flinched at the sound of his voice, but you didn't back down. I'm not defying you, you said quietly. I'm just trying to survive. He scoffed, leaving your chin, and stood straight. You think I care about your survival? You killed my mother. You destroyed my family. You don't deserve to survive. Your breath caught in your throat, but you refused to look away. It was an accident. I never meant for anyone to get hurt. You decided to explain him once again because you too regret that thing. Accident. Jungkook scoffed, his anger rising with every word. Do you think that makes it okay? Do you think that brings her back? No, but hurting me won't bring her back either. Jungkook's jaw clenched as he fought to control his rising rage. He grabbed your chin even harder, didn't care about your feelings or tears. Lawfully, he's your husband, but he only has hate for you and nothing else. He just married to take his revenge. But I will make your life hell. I'll make you understand the pain. Now get up and prepare dinner. He let go of your chin while a tear left from your eyes. You came in the kitchen as per his order, or you know what he would do if you didn't obey him. You hurriedly prepared the dinner, following his instructions while he was sitting at the dining table and eyes only fixed on you. His stare sent shivers down your spine, and each movement you make feels like walking on the ice. You were afraid to make even the slightest mistake. You could feel his heavy gaze and his silent judgment was suffocating you. You were trying your best to focus, but a fear knotted in your stomach, making every task feel so difficult. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through your hand as you reached for a dish from the oven. You dropped it with a clatter, the sound echoing in the silence. The scent of burnt flesh mingled with the aroma of the meal, a painful reminder of your misstep. You looked up to see concern, or at least a small worry in his eyes, but he remained seated, his face emotionless, and it shows you that he has no sympathy for you. You bit your lower lip trying to suppress your tears. His heartlessness cut deeper than the physical pain you got. At this moment you found that his cruelty knows no bounds, but you also found strength and vowed to yourself that you will never let him break you. You cleaned the floor and again prepared the dish before serving to him. Jungkook was going towards his bed when he saw his reflection in the mirror. He didn't able to ignore it and stood in front of it. He was surprised for not being able to recognize himself. In the rage of revenge, he has become blind. He lost his humanity. He became a monster he always wanted to destroy. His reflection was screaming these words. Of course, you deserve a punishment for what you did. Because of your mistake, he lost his mother. But what he has been doing with you from the past 4 months didn't justify his actions. For the first time, he felt guilty for his actions. You used to have a heart, but look at yourself now. You are nothing but a monster, he said to his reflection. His hands trembled as he reached out to touch the glass, but he flinched back with fear at the sight of his own reflection. There were other ways to punish her. She accepted her crime. You could have handed her to the police, but what you did to her is also a crime. You have given her enough pain. He was imagining his reflection saying all that to him, but in reality it was his inner thoughts. His good side, who knows that you don't deserve this. The memory of your tear-stained face flashed before his eyes, and for a brief moment, he felt a pang of guilt pointing at his conscience. You hated her for something she didn't even mean to do, and in your quest of vengeance, you have become everything you despised. His inner voice reminded him, and he stared at his reflection but got no answer. But even if he realized his mistake, he knew that it was too late to undo the damage he caused you. He treated you as much as he could. You bear all his torture just because you have no other way. You blamed yourself for his loss. He put on his shirt and left the room to check on you. Crying your heart out and putting on ointment on the skin that burned, you were about to go to the bed when the door opened, making you shiver. This time you knew why he came in your room. You lost all the hopes and realized that he has become a monster who has no chance of getting better. You didn't look at him because there was no use. In the end, he will do what he's here for and will go, but you have to look at him when he didn't come inside for a long time. He was standing at the door, his shadow illuminating by the faint of moonlight. For a long moment, he just watched you, his expression unreadable. Then, to your surprise, he spoke, his voice low and filled with an emotion you couldn't quite identify. "Why do you stay?" he asks while you turn your head, meeting his gaze with tired, red, puffy eyes. "Because I have no choice, and because I believe that there is good in everyone, even in you." Jungkook's eyes flicker with regret, but he quickly masks it with his cold, hard stare and walks near you. "You are a fool," he said, taking your hand in his. You were confused why he's talking this way, but he just coated your skin with the ointment properly. He looked at you, and for the first time you didn't see any hatred in his eyes. In fact, his eyes were soft. You saw regret. You should have run away from here. Only after saying that, he slowly let go of your hand and walked out of your room, closing the door. You looked at your hand, but your mind was a mess now with loads of new questions. In the days that followed, Jungkook's attitude began to change subtly. He still acted distant towards you, but you noticed moments when he looked at you with a conflicted expression. He stopped giving orders and started spending more time away from home, as if battling his own inner turmoil. You were watering the plants when you remembered something. Jungkook wasn't home, so you decided to go in his room. You put the watering can down and walked inside the house before making your way towards Jungkook's room. Your hands trembled slightly as you reached for the handle. You were rethinking about your action because if Jungkook finds it out, God knows what he will do with you. Taking a deep breath, you pushed the door open with caution and entered inside. As you step into the dimly lit room, your eyes were drawn to a small frame on the dresser. And then Jungkook stood beside a woman, her smile radiant and full of warmth. His mother. The realization hit you like a tidal wave, the gravity of your action crashing down. You reached out a trembling hand, tracing the outline of her face in the photograph. In that moment, she was no longer a stranger, but a mother who had loved her son with every fiber of her being. Tears filled in your eyes as you saw the pain etched in Jungkook's eyes, the void left behind by her absence. You felt a deep ache in your chest. You had committed a grave injustice, robbing Jungkook of the one person who had meant the world to him. His mother had been his everything, his anchor in a world filled with darkness, and now he was left alone to navigate the stormy seas of grief. You opened a drawer of the nightstand and there were some pictures. You picked them and your heart clenched seeing that they were of his mother. He must have looked at them before sleeping. He doesn't seem happy either and is just trying to take his revenge by breaking you apart. Suddenly the lights turned on and you flinched slightly. You knew he must be Jungkook, and yes, it was true. He came inside and was surprised to see you in his room. "What are you doing here?" His voice sent shivers down your spine, but you swallowed and calmed yourself. You gathered your courage and turned towards him while he saw the photographs in your hands. What were you doing with them? He said, taking the pictures from your hands. Why these pictures are in your hands? Don't you feel worse about yourself seeing the person you killed with your own hands? Tried your best not to cry. Yes, I feel worse. I did a crime and I think I deserve punishment. But you paused and again opened his drawer before taking out a gun from it. He got careful at first, but then you gave the gun in his hand before making him point towards you, right on your forehead. I looked straight in his eyes. Just kill me already. End me because I know I did bad to you. I want to end up like this now instead of suffering every second. Already it haunts me every single time that I took away someone's life and then this life. I'm just too tired, Jungkook. Just end it here and move on. Jungkook's hand trembled as he held the gun. Your palms pressed against his fingers and his eyes widened with a mix of anger and disbelief. Do you think this will solve everything? You think dying will make it go away? First time his voice was shaking. You didn't flinch nor you looked away from him despite tears continuously streaming down. No, but maybe it will give you some peace. Maybe it will make for what I took away from you. He looked at you, torn between his hatred and a flicker of something else, confusion, pain, perhaps even pity. His grip on the gun tightened, then loosened as he fought with his own emotions. The room was silent. Do you think this is what she would have wanted? Do you think my mother would want me to become a murderer too? He shouted while his voice broke. You fell to your knees, sobbing uncontrollably, the weight of your guilt and pain finally crashing down on you. Jungkook turned away, his hands gripping his hair as he fought to contain the agitation inside him. I'm sorry, I'm really very sorry, Jungkook. I swear I never meant to do that. It was an accident and believe me, I'm still haunted by that incident. But I can't bring your mother back. If I could die instead of her, I would have. Jungkook looked at you, his chest heaving and his hands clenched into fists. The raw pain in your voice pierced through his anger. He stared at you, his eyes filled with a mix of rage, confusion and something else. Something softer, more vulnerable. Sorry? Do you think sorry can fix this? Do you think it can bring her back? You looked up at him, your eyes red and swollen with tears. No, I know it can't. But I don't know what else to do. I have lived every day with this guilt, wishing I could change what happened, but I can't, and now I have only brought more pain to you. His hands slowly unclenched and eyes softened a little because now he could see how much you have suffered and guilty for your actions. He sat on his knees in front of you without breaking the eye contact. Every time I look at you, I see her. I see the life that was stolen from me, but I also see your pain and it confuses me. It makes me feel things I don't want to feel. I can't take back what happened, Jungkook, but I'm here willing to do whatever it takes to make things right, or at least try to ease some of your pain. If you want me to leave, I will. If you want me to stay and face this with you, I will. He turned away, running a hand through his hair, struggling with the pool of emotions inside him. We both knew that you can't erase the past, but you can try by forgiving each other because none of you were innocent. His mother died because of a mistake, but he purposely hurted you and gave you all the possible pain which was unforgivable. I don't know what I want. I don't know how to let go of this anger, this pain, but maybe, just maybe we can find a way to heal together. You rose slowly, your knees weak, and took a slow step towards him. I am ready to repent for every pain I caused you and wounds that I dug in. No matter what you did to me, I'm still ready to help. For the first time, a tear left his eyes in front of you. He looked at you again, standing there with tears streaming down your face. You looked so small, so fragile, and for the first time he allowed himself to see you as a person, not just the woman who had taken his mother from him. Is it possible? Is it possible to help and trust a monster like me after what I did to you? Will you ever forgive me and love me? You looked down, biting your lower lip. Of course, it won't be easy, but you both have suffered from traumas that you have given to each other. You looked at him. I will try. We will try, and one day maybe these memories will fade and we'll move on. I just hope. Before he could cry, he hugged you tightly, making you surprise. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything, but now I'm tired. I'm tired of hating everything. I want to move on. I want to heal and live a normal life. And I will try my best to make up for everything I did. I promise you. A tear escaped from your eyes and you wrapped your arms around him. I will be in this with you. Remember, you are not alone. Months passed and slowly the dynamic between you and Jungkook began to change. Jungkook made a genuine effort to be a better person, treating you with respect and kindness. He sought therapy to deal with his past trauma and guilt, and gradually the walls around his heart started to crumble. You two began to heal. You started seeing Jungkook not as a monster but as a man who was deeply hurt and in need of redemption. You spent more time together talking about your hopes and dreams and rediscovering each other as individuals, and after that the real love bloomed. You both fell for each other deeply, and then only you both realized that how far you have come. You both repented and healed each other.